Welcome to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast, the one-stop spot for entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, and business owners just like you who are ready to rise, shine, and finally be seen as the go-to authority in their field. I'm your host, Christine Blasdale, also known as the Expert Authority Coach, and my mission is to help you build a magnetic brand, grow your visibility, and turn your expertise into real, lasting influence and income. If you want to dive deeper, head on over to my website, expertauthoritycoach.com, where you can explore all the groovy stuff that I've created for you. And you can even book a free discovery call with me. I'd love to hear from you. Once again, head on over to expertauthoritycoach.com to book that free call today. And if you're enjoying the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to step into their expert authority as well. You can share the love, and only good karma will come back to you. I promise. Alrighty, so let's jump into today's episode. Welcome back to the podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Christine Blasdale, your expert authority coach. And today I'm very, very excited because not only are we going to gain some really important wisdom from somebody who knows all about podcasting and audio and the art of the interview and all of that good stuff. So you're going to get some real gems, but also is a dear, dear client of mine who's in my accelerator program. And I've been working with him now for a few, what is it, like 2 months?
A month.
Is it a month? Only a month? Oh my goodness.
No, a month and a half.
It feels like a lifetime, Jeremy. My guest today is Jeremy Schreifels, who is the executive producer of Box 7 Media, where he and his team help entrepreneurs just like you, small business owners and authors amplify their message. They also help them grow their brand and connect with their audience through the art of podcasting. And with over 2 decades of experience in audio production, multimedia coaching, and brand strategy, Jeremy has produced top-tier podcasts, best-selling audiobooks, yay, and powerful brand experiences that cut through the noise. So welcome to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast, Jeremy. Welcome.
Thank you. It's like we were just doing this, so it feels like we're just hanging out once again.
We're just having another coaching session again. Exactly.
Right.
Jeremy, in my accelerator program, Jeremy and I, we work together every single week for 2 hours each session, which may seem daunting to some, but it goes by kind of quickly, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah. I think it really does move fast. Like,
yeah,
I will say to the audience that I was like 2 hours really, and weekly. It's
a lot of FaceTime. It's a lot of FaceTime with me. And I know that some people, it can feel daunting in the beginning, but it's a way so that we have that time. We don't have to use the whole time, but we have all that time together that we can explore and we can really get into the nitty gritty and not only help your expertise and send that message out to the world about how accomplished you are, but then also I get to learn from you as well, which I think is any teacher, any coach, I think that's one of the things that we forget about is that we can learn a lot from our clients and our students. So thank you for being in my world, Jeremy.
Yeah, I love it. I'm honored. I mean, it's how we met was on a podcast because you came into my ecosystem on my podcast. And
yes,
that's exactly how it's supposed to work. So you want to talk about a first reason. There's a good reason. I found a great teacher who I didn't know I was looking for until she showed up in my space.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Oh, I got goosebumps on that. That was very cool. Thank you, Jeremy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I gave in the intro, I talked about your background and your expertise, but I know that when it comes to audio and, like with podcasting and audiobooks, you understand the power of that when it comes to expanding someone's brand and marketing their business. But you come from a musical background as well. So can you just talk about how did you get into this business, like with podcasting and with audiobooks?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite stories to tell always. And been a touring freelance musician for the last 25 years. And what does that actually mean? That actually means that I sat behind drums, drove in vans and trucks, and created all the stories. But really, what I learned is to listen. I learned to be a listener, and when you're in the position of drummer, you're the one that has to hold everyone together, and you have to really talk about energy and telling a story and bringing everyone else along with you. And as I did that and continued in my career, I built out a studio, which I don't know if we're on video. If we are, you're seeing a part of my studio space right now. So welcome to my studio. And I wanted to be more in that creative space where I could help others have an opportunity to bring others together and bring their voice together. And one of my favorite things is taking someone's voice or their story or their brand and amplifying it into something that they didn't even know it could be, but it really is built off of their words, their personality, their story, their experience, because it's already all kind of inside of them. And, that's one thing I've learned from you, Christine, is like, I had all of this already here. I just needed to get it out and let other folks know about it and be able to use these words and tell that story. So as I became more successful in my music career, which really just meant I was able to travel all over the United States playing music with really great people and meet some really incredible folks and make some amazing connections and build a network that led me to go into our COVID space, which we all have our COVID stories. But COVID was the best thing for me. It was the worst and the best because it taught me that I could do all of this stuff from right here. I didn't have to travel all over the US. And what I really found out was there were business owners and entrepreneurs who didn't know how to deal with audio. They just thought audio was a voice memo on their iPhone or their favorite device. And so I was like, no, it needs to be something more. So I really spent time investing in telling folks' stories through their voice. And podcast was the entry point to that. But I also found an even deeper love in the audiobook space because for me, producing an audiobook and the performance of it is like producing a vocal track for a singer-songwriter and really helping it come alive because, you were in the industry long enough to know that the microphone never lies. It picks up the performance.
It sure does.
It will capture everything. So I want to make sure I'm capturing that for folks and I take that time. And because it comes out on the other side. So I landed in this space.
And it's a very intimate art form, audio. Podcasting is one way. And most of the time when we're listening to a podcast, a lot of times we're listening to a dialogue, right? A communication between two people or more. But with audiobooks too, it's the author actually is really connecting to the listener / reader, right? Connecting on a very deep level because you're not seeing that person. You're just hearing them and feeling them. And so that's why I love radio, why I love podcasting, and why I love audiobooks. My question is, when you first started building your own brand, what felt like the biggest challenge to you in becoming seen as an expert authority or as an authority in your field?
The biggest challenge I had was changing the perception and the narrative people had of who I was and what I did. Because I spent 20 years building myself as a drummer and did a really good job. And so it took me a lot of years to kind of unpack that. And I thought I had to do it in a way that was like, I'm not that.
Oh, right.
And really what I discovered was that is what made me who I am.
Yes.
And what makes me so good at what I do. And when
I love that.
When I realized that I was no longer Jeremy this, Jeremy that, Jeremy this, Jeremy that, I was just Jeremy. That was the biggest challenge I had to get over, was just kind of that, well, I had to completely reinvent myself and be somebody that I thought I wasn't already. And I wasn't true.
I think that's so important. We don't have to get rid of especially when it comes to our brand, right? And branding and marketing, things like that. We don't have to forego who we were because we're changing or we're growing, we're turning into something different. Another question I have is, before we started working together, and again, we work very closely, very high touch point, 2 hours each week, and I wanted to know, what were you struggling with most in your business or your brand, other than making sure that you could carry over that experience you did as a musician. But what were you struggling with? Do you personally think you were struggling with most?
I think I was personally struggling with my understanding of what needed to come next, but trying to unblock whatever it was from stopping me. It was almost like I had this sheet over my eyes, and then you just kind of spread them apart and said, "Hey, look, you're already headed in the right direction. Let's just turn up the volume, so to speak," and filled in some gaps. And what I was really struggling with was I knew what I needed to do. I knew where I was headed, and I knew the few things that I wanted to execute on, but I kept feeling like I ran into roadblocks, or I would just not move forward because I'm because I was waiting for the right person or the right thing to come into my ecosystem to show me, tell me, or help me, right? And you've done both, not both, all three. Math is
But
hard. I'm just a musician.
but what I like about, what I love about the dynamics of coaching, and I think I'm talking to you as well because you are also a coach, and
Mm-hmm.
our listeners are coaches as well, is this thing of not having not having the keys and saying, well, all you need to do is spend time with me and here's the keys and then now you have it. It's showing your clients that they have it, everything, that it's right in front of them, or they're sitting on, like, all this great stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
just making them be aware of it and that it has value. And I think as humans, a lot of times we downplay our talents, right? We downplay our gifts that we have, and we go, oh, who'd be interested in that? Would somebody be interested in, no. And when you have a third party, you have somebody else coming in and looking in and seeing all that gold, then it's like, it gives you, the person who's going through this and wanting to expand your brand and your expert authority, it gives you this feeling of, oh my God, I already have it. It's right
Mm-hmm.
there. And it makes it a lot, I feel it makes the journey a lot easier. It doesn't feel like a big old, mountain you have to climb.
Right. And this happened in real time just a few days ago. When we were talking, you uncovered something and you're like, "Oh my God, you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." It's like, and I just downplay it, but and then I'm like, why am I not why do not more people know about that? Shame on me. Not shame on me in a negative way, but
No.
shame on me just in a like, oh, let's share this outwardly. Let's make sure other people have access to it. And so
Yes.
sometimes, and I truly believe I'm doing it in a way that's manageable and sustainable. And I'm building for something bigger for me in terms of my brand. So I know maybe some of the things might grow slower, but maybe that was just my excuse to not just move them forward faster.
I think what it is that we are, as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, having our own business, and you have employees as well. So we're so busy with the business
Mm,
that we don't see some of the things that a mentor or a coach is able to see, and to say, "Oh my gosh, that has so much value." With your skill set, I can sit there and go, "Oh my gosh, you have the ability to really help people, obviously, with their podcast and creating a professional podcast and the audio book, right, as well, because that's a daunting process. Trust me. Yeah, doing it on your own is like, oh, and I put it off for a very long time, Jeremy, because I thought it would be just too hard to do. But then, we know, when we were having our discussion and we were talking about just the idea of, music, you have
mm-hmm.
this huge background. You could create music for people. And it's like, oh, yeah, I have that ability. That's right. I forgot. I'm talking about
It's like
you,
I don't
Jeremy.
forget what I forgot.
Yeah. Well, I love breakthrough moments. And those light bulb moments. And I just was wondering if you can share with the audience, since you've been working with me, has there been some or a breakthrough moment where you like the light bulb went off and you said, "Oh my goodness, I really feel like I have something here."
Yeah, I would say at least once per session.
That's
Legitimately,
a good
it's
rate.
been
Okay, that's good.
one per session. And that's a lot, folks, because that means once a week I'm having an aha moment. That's a lot to hold on to. But I think what I love about the accelerator program and how it works and how much high touch points it is it gives someone participating, me specifically, my experience has been I can have those aha moments and they don't feel overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to let somebody down by next week when we meet next time. It's like, no, I got this. These are things that I can do. They're completely attainable and they're pouring rocket fuel on some things that have really just either been simmering or sitting dormant for a while. And so that's helpful to me and to know like I can do it because I've already been doing it. It's just doing it, adding a little bit of layer and a little bit of a push, right? Because
Yeah,
I think what why else would I hire a coach unless I want to be pushed, And also as a coach, I need to have other coaches influencing me, right?
same,
And
same here.
I tell everybody, I'm like, well, I'm not going to coach you. I have 3 coaches. Okay. So trust me, I'm also getting some help and doing this thing as well.
I think that's so important. And I want to say, you know, if you're a coach and you don't have a coach, are you really a coach?
I think you need to repeat that for listeners.
I think so. Oh, I won't. but but it's true because we're constantly growing and we only know what we know.
Yes.
We only know what we know, and to continually grow, I take whatever I learn, if it's self-taught through investigation and education and research, or if I'm working with a coach who shows me something, I share it. I share that information with my clients because I want to be constantly growing. And that's really when people talk about expert authority, it's not some it's not a journey and then you get to the destination and you're there and you stay there. You're constantly growing. You want to be constantly growing and expanding, I believe, for that to take effect. And that's what makes like our relationship so great as well when we're working together is I truly feel that you want to grow and you're open to ideas,
Mhm.
to suggestions, and that keeps the flow beautiful. It's not like you saying, "I already know everything, Christine, so you can't teach me anything."
Well, that's not true for sure. And, I agree. I've learned a number of things that I can bring to my clients,
Yeah.
whether they're coaching clients or they're my podcast and audiobook clients. It gives me more value to them as well and to bring something else, whether that increases a lifetime value of a client or I'm just bringing in value add. I
Yeah.
think both are equally valuable to my client, but also to me, because that means they know that I'm continuing to stay relevant and I'm growing and I'm getting coaching and mentoring. I'm in a space now where I hire specific coaches for specific things,
Yeah.
like versus like kind of a general, I need business help. That's a coach, but I'm like, I need help in this specific space. Christine was the perfect fit for all of these things, right? And
Oh,
I didn't even know it,
well,
at least for where I was at today.
because I was hiding out here in Australia. I
Exactly.
didn't know it till I got to talk to you on the podcast. What about if you could speak to the listeners who might be hesitant about investing in themselves for a coach and for yourself, for
Mhm.
myself, for somebody that they know could possibly help them in their business. What do you say to them about that financial commitment that you
Sure.
have to have?
So remember, you heard me say I was a musician first, and most people know that the average musician is broke.
Yeah.
That's reality, or just kind of okay. And my first coach I hired, I was broke and feeding a family and a mortgage and 2 kids, and I hired a coach, and beyond every ounce of my body that said it was not a good idea, it was the best investment I've ever made, was
Mm.
hiring the first one.
Mm.
Because if you were willing to commit at that level, what you were willing to do to get out of it was going to pay you, right? And I always, there's all sorts of numbers, right? Like, are you going to get 10x value out of what you're paying your coach? Like,
Yeah.
that's what some folks say. And that's what I aspire to do. Like, if I have a client, a coaching client specifically, I'd be like, I want to get you 10x value out of what you're investing in yourself, because
Exactly.
then you'll work that hard.
Yeah.
You'll work that hard, And when I go into hiring a coach, not that I look for that value, but I put in that amount of work now. So I think about it differently. Like, yes, there's the financial investment, but what I'm more looking for me now is, what can I put into it to make sure that the investment was not a thing I had to question. It was
Right.
just doing the work.
Right. And along the way too, what you learn from that person and the connections and the growth,
Mm-hmm.
because like when with you coming to me too, it wasn't just about investing in the accelerator program and spending time with me and 2 hours a week and now from that relationship, first of all, when I have a client that needs an audiobook or to create a podcast, who do you think I'm going to be calling on? You,
Mm.
right?
Well,
Can
thank
I
you.
create a podcast for people? Yes. Do I want to create a podcast for folks? Not necessarily. I need to focus on other stuff, right? Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
audiobooks. It'd be painful for me to produce an audiobook for somebody, but can I do it? Yeah. Do I want to? No. Much rather send a client of mine to someone like you. So there's that opportunity. And then you've
Mm-hmm.
just recently become a collaborator in a giveaway stack that I've launched. And so now you're getting exposed to new people that you couldn't be introduced to before. And so and it's a win-win. That's the thing. It's a win-win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you win and I win and the world wins, or our audience or the people that come into our atmosphere, when everybody wins, it's got a really nice energy about it. I don't know how to explain that as feebly as I did, but I think it's something that when you take that leap and you say, I feel that this is a good thing. This person, this coach is a good connection or a good mentor. When you go in with it like that attitude, then all these other opportunities can come forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's you're gaining access to a larger network of folks, as long as that was going well. And so, to the person who is questioning, should I or shouldn't I, likely they're thinking, well, what if it doesn't work and I waste this money and all those things? So the question I ask them is, what if it does work?
Mm,
Then
right,
what?
right. You better be
Then what?
ready.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Buckle up, sweetheart. Oh, well, let's wrap this up with the signature closing question of Jeremy, if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice about stepping into their own expert authority, what would it be?
Mm. Take the one step.
Mm.
Take the one step, because that journey can't begin unless you do that.
Right.
And as scary as it is, and it seems like there's a ledge beyond that step, it's not.
I like
And then
that.
just never quit.
Yeah. Amen. Amen, brother. Oh, Jeremy Schreifels, you are wonderful. Just thank you so much for coming on the show. And it's my understanding that you actually have something you'd like to gift to the audience.
Well, gift to you and your audience, Christine, because
Beautiful.
you are also here.
Yes.
Of course, I would love to offer anyone an opportunity to have a 30-minute session with me and talk about an audiobook or a podcast, or if you just want to talk about how to do some brand voicing, with your voice and your story, I think that would be powerful. Whatever is a great fit for you, you should be able to have a link in here. Otherwise, box7media.com/podcast guest will get you there.
I will make sure we put a link in the show notes. So folks, if you'd like to spend some time with my wonderful, absolute wonderful client, who is also fastly becoming a dear friend of mine, a family member as well, Jeremy, you can just check the show notes and click on that link and spend some time with him. And he's very generous with his time and his wisdom. And that's what we need more of, is that beautiful generosity. And you never know what's going to happen from that. You might, in a couple of weeks, you might have your own podcast, right? And then you can invite Jeremy and myself on your show.
Yeah, you have 2 guests right away.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jeremy, again, for being on the show today. And I want to thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers, those that are watching this on YouTube. Hello, we're waving at you. You can see Jeremy's cool setup. He's got guitars in the background and drums and everything. Thank you so much. And if this hit you in your heart and you feel that this is something that can help someone else, make sure you share the show as much as you can with whoever you feel could benefit. And if you want more information about this podcast, my coaching program, the accelerator program that Jeremy was talking about, you can go to expertauthoritycoach.com. That's expertauthoritycoach.com. It has all the goodies there, all the books, all the podcasts, everything, all the stuff you want, and in one place. All right. Until next time, take care, and please keep striving to improve your brand, your messaging through your expert authority. You've got it. All right. Bye now.